want to avoid that abrupt ending. That's where we've kind of set all of our content and then we just stop. And so there's got to be some type of transition. There's got to be something that you give to the audience to let them know that, hey, we want this to kind of sink in a little bit. And so your ending can really help with that. I'll give you a good example of this. If you've heard my podcast, if you've read my blog post, if you've read my books, a lot of times I'll talk about that very first challenge that I had in front of a group when I was an intern in college. And I was working for a big oil company. At the end of the 3-month internship, I had to fly in and give a presentation to some of the vice presidents. And by the way, I kind of over-exaggerate that a little bit. It was a really devastating, in my head anyway, it was a really devastating challenge that I had. But I think the thing that really made it so sad for me or frustrating for me was that I went through my entire presentation really, really quickly, and then I just kind of ended. And I was out of content. I didn't have anything else prepared. I had a memorized speech, and I'd probably forgotten some of it, and I said it really, really fast. But at the end, it was just kind of an abrupt ending. So most of the people that were sitting around the audience, sitting around the table listening to me speak, were just like, is that it? You know, I could tell by the look on their faces that they're going, are you done? And I just kind of sat down, and I'm embarrassed, right? So that abrupt ending can be one of the biggest challenges that we have as a speaker. So you really want to take some time to prepare how you're going to end the presentation before you actually get up to do it. It's one of those things that you probably want to practice a little bit before you actually start your presentation or before you deliver it anyway. You want to set up your ending ahead of time. So the way that we teach people how to do this in the Fearless Presentations class when people come to our 2-day classes is that we will kind of go through a structure, a fairly rigid structure of how to design a presentation. You start with an introduction, you give them your content, and then you give them your conclusion, your summary. So since we've given them the introduction to know exactly how many points we're going to cover and they know exactly what we're going to do, we're actually at the very beginning of the presentation setting up the ending, and that makes it a whole lot easier. If you don't do that, then some of the things that you can add in are things like so as we get toward the last point, you know, something like that, something that just kind of lets people know that, hey, we're getting close to a close. By the way, for most people, because the presentations that they tell or that they deliver are so kind of boring, that a lot of times you'll get more people's attention if you're telling them that you're about to close. If you have a really good presentation and you give them that kind of fair warning, you know, like the 2-minute warning, like in football, then you'll just make it, you'll have a much more warm ending for your presentation.